All right, well, another flashpoint emerging at the G7 summit in France has been Donald Trump's easily seen frustration against Netanyahu. Trump has rebuked Israel over its military offensive in Lebanon, unusually critical comments during his visit. While acknowledging his friendship with Netanyahu, Trump added that the Israeli leader must be more responsible when it comes to Lebanon. While Trump has been signaling a snub to Israel, Netanyahu has reiterated that his duty remains protecting Israel from all threats. Let's listen in to what Trump said.
Fighting Hezbollah too long and too many people are being killed. And you don't have to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody, because there are a lot of people in those apartment houses, and they're not all Hezbollah, that I can tell you. And I suggested to Israel to let Syria take care of Hezbollah. Because to be honest with you, I think they do a better job of doing it. And I didn't like Syria. I didn't like where 2 hours before we're signing the agreement, that there was an attack in Lebanon, in Beirut. It wasn't like in the southern side, and it was in Beirut. I did not like that. I let them know that. I didn't like it, not at all. But I think that Syria, he's pulled that country together amazingly quickly. He's very capable, and he's been very good for me. He's protected everything that I've asked for, he's done. And if Israel can't do the job without killing everyone else, he'll do the job. Syria will do the job.
All right, Professor Madhav Nalapat, the editorial director of the Sunday Guardian, is with us on the program. Ambassador Gauri Shankar Gupta is with us on the show as well. He's a former diplomat. Major General Dhruv Katot joins us, senior defense expert on the program too. Last but by no means the least, Shruti Das Gupta, foreign affairs expert, is with us on the program as well. Professor Nalapat, I've heard from all other panelists about this MOU which has been signed or is going to be signed on Friday between the United States and Iran. What do you make of this? I mean, is this something which started out as a cooperation between the Israelis and the United States, and somewhere down the line Donald Trump realized that this is not going down as well as he had anticipated? And let's not even get into the regime change, because that's nowhere mentioned in the MOU. It's more or less a reflection of the JCPO, which was signed in 2015. What are your observations, sir, from this convoluted situation which has come about, where two parties got into a war and now are sparring between themselves?
Well, Vineet, I'd like to point out that Donald Trump is living in La La Land. Al-Julani, his real name is Al-Julani. You can see the internet, the amount of atrocities he's committed, who is now the so-called president of Syria. He is very busy killing the Shia in Syria, very busy killing the Alawis in Syria, very busy killing all the various sects that he doesn't agree with in Syria. He's not going to venture into Lebanon. And as far as Hezbollah is concerned, frankly, the Iranians want Hezbollah to continue, so that because the IRGC is already heavily on the ground in Lebanon, they want Hezbollah to continue to attack Israel. So Netanyahu, understand the local geopolitics much more than our La La Land friend does. So he is now basically very clear that they are not going to withdraw from Lebanon, and they're going to carry out their whatever operation they do in Lebanon, no matter what. So that is the situation now regarding Hezbollah. As far as, of course, tomorrow Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump are meeting. I hope it will be a good meeting. I hope Trump does not try to force Modi into trying to take actions like signing some kind of a agricultural deal that does harm to Indian farmer. Modi will not do it, I can tell you. There's no question PM Modi will definitely not do it. But I have a feeling, Vineet, that this is going to be a very important summit. And I would like to say one thing very importantly, rare earths. The fact is, China has got a monopoly of 90% of the world's rare earths. As General Dhruv Katot will tell you, rare earths are used in a range of items, including weapons, space, I mean, anything that that you're using, including my smartphone, all that is they're needing rare earths as a basic raw material. Now, India is the third largest repository of rare earths. Brazil, the second largest. China is, of course, the largest. 40%. Control national supply. Prime Minister Modi's extend contacts in the global south, Africa, for example, in Latin America. Prime Minister Modi can lead a movement, quite honestly, to ensure that rare earths are made available to all these countries, so we don't have to depend on China for something as precious as rare earths. Now, in this context, I'd like to mention to you that in the G7 meeting, a very important leader is Sanai Takachi, the only leader in the G7 who is from Asia. Frankly, it should be a G8 with Japan and India also there. I don't know when they're going to wake up and find out that they're much more relevant with India. Remember, the G20 is much more relevant because the big countries are at the table, and here you're keeping India out. But Sanai Takachi is coming on July 1, and I think rare earths is going to be a very important focus for her, because the Chinese are blackmailing her by trying to prevent Japan from getting access to Chinese rare earths. And Japan is a very high-tech country. India has now got a tremendous technical base and a very able political leadership under Prime Minister Modi, assisted by people like Home Minister Amit Shah, who I would like to say is hardworking and very enthusiastic, and he has been loyal to the Prime Minister right from the very beginning when they were both nobodies in politics. So I want to say one thing, Vineet. It's an important summit. There's no question about it. As far as Israel is concerned, Israel is not going to stop attacking Hezbollah in Lebanon. It cannot stop. So Hezbollah, what's going to happen is Iran will transfer its assets to Hezbollah, and Hezbollah will keep attacking Israel. And there you have Donald Trump. I mean, I don't want to reproduce the words that Donald Trump used about Netanyahu. He called him an F dash 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 G. I don't want to fill in the blanks in that. I mean, this is ridiculous. Israel is the world's, I mean, it's the only Jewish state in the world. It has been an ally of the United States since its formation in 1948. And now you're calling the Prime Minister of Israel, whatever, or the most obscene language in public. Why? For defending his interests. I mean, let's be honest. Trump called our leaders our people with all kinds of unpalatable names. Why? Because we are defending our interests. And that's what Prime Minister Modi will do. That's what Prime Minister Netanyahu will do. And as far as Donald Trump is concerned, I'm not sure that this is a good deal for him at all. Iran is deeply unpopular. The clerical Iran is deeply unpopular in the United States. Whether this is going to help him in the midterms, it is an open question. But now J.D. Vance, for example, is talking about $300 billion access to funds. Now, where this $300 billion is coming from, I don't know. But J.D. Vance has made it clear the U.S. will not contribute, forget $1, one dime, in this kind of a reconstruction effort. So where is it? It's again a La La Land situation. You're talking about $300 billion. Your own country is going to contribute zero on that. And then where do you expect it to come from? From La La Land, of course. So, I mean, the world is at a very, very interesting stage now. Geopolitics is at a very, very interesting and crucial crossroads. And thank God we have somebody like Prime Minister Modi at the top, because he can lead India safely through these treacherous crosswinds and crossroads. So that's what I would like to say, Vinny. Thank you.
All right. General Katoch, your response to what Professor Nalapat said, that it's absolutely correct of Mr. Netanyahu also to look out for his own interest, his country's interest. He says that Jews in Israel have for more than centuries now been targets of hate and extinction. And if Netanyahu has had a very formidable case presented to Donald Trump, this should not be the level of oratory that Donald Trump needs to in fact expend on Netanyahu.
Very frankly, Vineet, the language which President Trump uses against everybody is outrageous. I thought more outrageous than the language which he used against the Israeli Prime Minister was what he used against the French president.
Correct.
Very in an open speech, he says that he's been slapped by his wife. I mean, I thought that was the most derogatory thing for any head of state to say about another head of state. So I leave Trump's statements out. I mean, he has made some very disparaging comments, and when he made it about India, it was China and India put together when he made those comments. You see, the fundamental point, which I've always said, as far as Israel is concerned, Iran has been threatening them with extinction. And I think about 7 or 8 years earlier, when I had met the Israeli ambassador to India, he made that point. And he says, when they keep threatening us, when the top leadership keep threatening us, we have to believe it. You cannot say, no, they're just talking. So they are going to take that threat seriously. And it is my opinion that should Israel ever feel that Iran is going to make the bomb, they will take it. They will take them out. They will go to war. As of now, for a decade or so, I don't see that situation coming. Now coming down to the Hezbollah in Lebanon, I still feel that for the moment, Israel will lie low. And I think they may like to do it in a slightly different way. It may be worth a while to get in touch with the Lebanese army, whatever remnants of that army they have got, and operate through them. The Lebanese government also wants the Hezbollah out, but they don't have the power to do it. And regardless of the statements being made by the Lebanese government, the present government, they'll be quite happy to see the Hezbollah out, and they'll be very happy if Israelis are doing it. That doesn't really matter. But optics does matter. And I think that is going to play out in the next month or so as to how this is stage managed. But Israel won't be too concerned about stage management. They may try it, but that won't be an overriding principle for them. If they have to hit, they will hit. If they can avoid it for some time, they will avoid it. And I think that is the way they're going to go. There are so many things that you can say as today, but I will still, despite the Shruti not agreeing with that point, I'm still of that opinion. You give peace some time. These chaps have been at war for a very long time. Once you give peace for some time, I think it'll work to the interest of the Iranian people and against this regime. In my view, that is the best way to get this regime out. You can't do it by bombs. I think if you remove the bomb, the ground situation may change. There may be a swelling up of opinion against these people, and then the regime may actually go. If that goes, then the entire situation changes. Otherwise, as very rightly said by Shruti and the others, Iran has got a stranglehold over the Arab world now. They are the bosses. They will dictate terms, and I think that is not good news for the Saudis and the rest of the Arab world. They will have to follow the terms as laid down by Iran.
Fair enough, Shruti. What's going to happen to the people of Iran now? This is obviously a political victory for them, but the concerns related to human rights in Iran have also been a concern. It's been a concern to India as well. The treatment of women has also been a concern in Iran. That is a depressing thought, isn't it? That all of that is going to come back, or won't it?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Iran is currently chairing one of UN's various organizations, which is responsible for human rights and protection of women's rights. If I'm not wrong, currently they are in exactly that chair. And that itself speaks the irony of it. That's a nation that we all know to be, doing the worst of human rights crimes against its women, their rights to their own body and freedoms, to their own citizens for how they voice themselves and whom they align with. Their very, very strict orthodox religious practices, they are not going to change any of that. You're putting money more in the hands of the damn mullah. He's going to spend it exactly the way that he needs to further strengthen the orthodox religion and its stakeholders. I know that I'm saying contrary words to General Katoch right now, but this is exactly how this kind of ideology flourishes. They're going to incentivize being more loyal to Iran and the Iranian ideology. They're going to incentivize understanding and obeying that entire program of the greater evil and the lesser evil, the greater Satan and the lesser Satan against USA and Israel. No matter how much money flows in, that's not going to separate from them. That is part of who they are. Whether the Iranian people are able to come out of there, well, they did try, not once, I think twice. Masa Amini protests, as well as the one that we saw in January, they tried it twice. And you saw how brutal that suppression was. The internet blackouts, the deaths. I believe US just a few days ago got a cargo of unregistered hair that comes in for wigs from Iran. And that's like they cannot trace, there's no legal source of where that human hair is coming from. And the biggest speculation about it is that it is probably from the number of people that have died, the women that were not even counted as people who were affected in those protests. They've been shaped or they've been scalped for all we know. And those hair are now being sold in the Iranian markets, the black market.
I like one as well. And our deadline is to complete by the G20. Our teams are aware of that and what we're discovering in the negotiations, but also with the exchanges of our universities, cultural exchanges of our businesses, including the largest trade delegation from India, and a big reciprocal one coming from Canada to India, is that there's so much more to do together. And it's just one objective, which you've set, is to double our trade by the end of this decade. We think we can do more and with this partnership.
एक्सेलेंसी, मेरे लिए खुशी की बात है कि हमारी पहली मुलाकात भी G7 में हुई थी और आज हम 1 साल के बाद मिल रहे हैं और जैसा आपने कहा हम 4 बार मिल चुके हैं और लगातार फ़ोन पर भी हमारा संपर्क हो रहा है। हम बायलैटरल रिलेशंस को लेकर के भी और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय परिस्थितियों के संबंध में भी खुल करके अपने विचार रखते रहे हैं और हमने एक अच्छी परिस्थिति में एक मित्र देश के रूप में बहुत प्रगति हो रही है। भारत का डायस्पोरा की आप जिस प्रकार से चिंता करते हैं, मैं आपका बहुत आभारी हूँ और भारत के डायस्पोरा के प्रति उनका भी कुछ न कुछ योगदान आपके यहाँ हमेशा रहता है। ऐसे आपको सही है कि हम फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट को लेकर के बहुत ही उत्सुक हैं और शायद जैसा आपने मुझे निमंत्रित किया है कनाडा आने के लिए, मेरा भी प्रयास है कि इसी वर्ष में आऊँ और मेरे आने से पहले ही हम इस एग्रीमेंट को पूरा करें। हम टेक्नोलॉजी के अंदर बहुत कुछ आगे करना चाहते हैं। एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी में कनाडा हमारा बहुत बड़ा पार्टनर बन सकता है। तो ये सारे क्षेत्र हैं जिसको लेकर के आज हमारी काफ़ी चर्चाएं भी होगी और मैं आपका बहुत आभारी हूँ कि सबसे साथियों से आज मुझे मिलने का मौका मिल रहा है। थैंक यू।
All right, those are visuals coming in, a conversation that took place between the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney and Prime Minister Modi, in which the Prime Minister expressed his desire to visit Canada this year. In fact, Mr. Carney also went on to say that the trade that both these countries have, he envisages that would be doubled by the end of this decade. While this is a wonderful departure from the kind of back and forth that we have seen between the Indian government and the Canadian under Justin Trudeau, and obviously it's an important conversation on the sidelines of the G7 summit, which Prime Minister Modi is attending for the 7th time as well. Let me rope in Ambassador Gupta into this conversation as well. Ambassador Gupta, the Prime Minister once again reiterating how important Canada is. The huge diaspora that lives in Canada is obviously an asset to the Canadians as well, and a responsibility of the Prime Minister here as well.
Vineet, accidentally I am in Canada today and I am joining you from here, and the former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is a subject of mockery in the entire country. You won't believe whomever you talk, they are mocking him. He was recently seen in one of the FIFA matches sitting with his new girlfriend. She was sitting on his lap or
Katy
in a
Perry,
very awkward manner.
pop singer Katy Perry.
Yeah. So the whole thing, Justin Trudeau and his father, both are the history is being rewritten about them, and there are a lot of new researches are coming into play, and therefore their entire image is now actually being maligned by the Canadians themselves. So let's forget about that chapter. He wrote a very negative chapter, and the way he intruded in the internal politics of India, commenting on the farmers' agitation and other things. I think better we forget them. Prime Minister Carney is a very sensible person. He speaks, with his mind and with his heart, and I believe him. I think he genuinely believes the friendship with India. I have seen his interview on arrival in Evian, where he said that India is an important country and that should be taken note of. And there's already a talk, to expand G7, because India has been a permanent invitee. Carney invited him to Canada, and now he has been invited to Evian. So obviously, India is a candidate from Asia who could join, because India is a democratic country. China is not. So obviously, India is one of the major candidates which can qualify, and it can become G8. In addition, there are also talk about Australia and Korea joining the group. These discussions are actually in the background right now. They have not come out in open. But if G7 wants to retain its hold in the world, obviously it has to expand to some Asian countries, particularly democratic countries like India, South Korea, and Australia. So that is one part of the thinking. The other thinking is that bilateral relations between Canada and India are extremely important. If you come and visit Canada, you will see, most of the important aspect of work are actually run by Indians here. Indians are everywhere. They are running their enterprises. They are running their security system. They are running their defense establishments. You have seen the foreign minister is of Indian origin. So in that sense, he has recognized the Indian talent, and he's actually supporting them. He has also told all other communities migrating that don't bring hatred and disputes into the country. You come with your culture, we will accept you, but not with your disputes and hatred. And that was a clear message to the Khalistani movement
absolutely right.
in Canada.
Also that
So
we
I
have to
think
dip
with
into.
his leadership, we will.
Right,
we
sir.
will,
So we have some breaking news that we have to dip into. We're getting news that silver prices in Delhi are trading at 265 per gram, which works out at 2,65,000 per kilogram today. Like gold, silver is also seeing steady demand amidst the current market environment, as easing geopolitical tensions following the US-Iran ceasefire have moved investor sentiment. Silver has always remained a popular and attractive investment for the people of Delhi and the nation as well. Valued not just as a safe haven asset, but also for its industrial uses and cultural significance in jewelry and festivals. All right. Once again, I'm going to bring in Professor Nalapat as well. Professor Nalapat, so your bits on this dialogue that took place between Prime Minister Modi and the Canadian leader. It's obviously reminding us of those days when Justin Trudeau was at the helm, but that is water under the bridge.
Vineet, both President Macron as well as, to my information, Prime Minister Starmer, they came and hugged Prime Minister Modi. That shows the affection that they have for Prime Minister Modi. Some second or so handshake between Trump and Modi. It was not a hug, it was a handshake. There have been hugs, but certainly not what took place a short while ago. The point is very clear, Vineet. India is very clear that the US is not the only game in town. The entire world is a playground of India, and I agree completely with the previous discussion that the G7 must become at least G8 by including India, and subsequently, of course, possibly Australia and South Korea, but definitely India. Russia has been removed. There was a G8. There should again be a G8. But lastly, I'd like to say, I am fully confident that Prime Minister Modi will carry the message of goodwill, will carry the message of cooperation, and in terms of technology, in terms of discovery of rare earths, in terms of advancement in medical and other sciences. Indians have a lot to contribute, and here is the elected Prime Minister of the world's most popular democracy. So there is no question that he is respected across the spectrum, and you can see that in the body language of the G7 leadership, the photograph that was taken, and how, Prime Minister Modi was right there in front, and right next to the host, in fact. And if you know, in diplomacy, as you know,
right.
if you're seated next to the host, it's a sign of
Right,
recognition.
right,
of
sir.
your
So we have a
importance.
paucity of time, but I appreciate your thoughts. We have some breaking news to get into. Well, NASDAQ and the Dow futures have ticked higher on Tuesday as investors shifted focus from geopolitics to the first major interest rate decision under new Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh. The positive sentiment builds on the relief rally triggered by the US-Iran ceasefire agreement, which has eased Middle East tensions, lowered oil prices and boosted overall risk appetite across global markets. SpaceX continued its strong post-IPO momentum for a third straight day, further cementing its position after recently surpassing Amazon to become the fifth largest US company by market value. Some more breaking news coming in. All right, well, that's all we have for this bulletin, but I appreciate everybody who joined in and gave their perspective. We'll take a short break.